What's good, Pathfinders? Fingers here, and I just completed my Lich run of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. And in honor of Halloween, I figured I'd run my mouth on what I thought about it. And to no one's surprise, this path is in fact glitched. Again, just like my Angel Path run, I will link that video below if you want to hear my initial takes on the game as a whole and the Angel Path run. But yes, the Lich Path is also glitched. And again, much like the Angel Path, it is glitched right at the very end, which is mind boggling. I just have to say, Owlcat Games is completely and utterly incompetent. You need to fire your lead programmers, get some people in there who can crack the whip and get this stuff done, because this is unacceptable. This is your second Pathfinder game, and you're still making the same mistakes you made with the first game. And as your second outing, these issues should have been ironed out by now. And we're talking about simple things. This isn't a Grand Theft Auto 5 style open world RPG where you have to worry about physics engines and the like, and AIs spawning all over the place, doing this, that, and the other thing. This is essentially coding a flowchart. I have enough basic bitch coding experience to know an if else statement when I see one, and I know y'all ain't programming it right. You guys have the simple task of saying, if you have this feat, this happens. Else it don't. That's it. That's all you have to put in, and you manage to botch that. Several of the abilities are glitched. Several of the feats are glitched, do not work as intended. For the life of me, I can't understand how you can screw this up. Now, granted, there are so many classes, there are tons of abilities, but still, when you're putting them in there, it's basically, if you have this ability, you get an extra crit multiplier on your critical hits, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And there are critical hit abilities that do not function. I believe the crit ray feat does not work as of the recording of this video. And it's not only in the abilities, even though that is the most egregious of the problems when you're trying to build your class and you pick a feat, you're building upon it, and you find out, oh, that feat doesn't work and that feat doesn't work. And now your build is suboptimal. And this isn't a problem if you're doing a normal or a core rules run. I did a core rules run this last time around, and the challenge was sufficient and fun. I will give it that, even though, again, a lot of the abilities are busted. Which ones are busted? You don't know until you know. You don't know until it's too late, or unless you want to do a deep dive on the forums and the subreddits to find out what abilities are glitched or not. And even that information might be outdated due to the patches and updates. But who knows? They may never get around to fixing abilities. I'm pretty sure in Pathfinder Kingmaker there are still abilities that simply do not work as intended. And it is not only in the abilities, but in your choices throughout the game. You will come into certain, and this is what I like about what Owlcat Game is trying to do. You make choices. Sometimes you make a good choice, and several hours later, that good choice leads to a bad outcome. Maybe you have to fight some extra enemies, or you lose something like that. You make an evil choice. Hey, sometimes something good happens. That bad guy that you helped out pops in for a battle, making that battle easier, and that's very cool. But what pisses me off is when I make the exact opposite decision and the game tells me I made this other decision. And it's like, guys, come again. If else statement. If you pick this, then this happens. And it just boggles my mind how they can still be getting this wrong. But enough with Owlcat and their programming incompetence. The Lich Path. The Lich Path is very, very cool. Liked it. I liked the story. It develops a lot different. Now, each mythic path you go down unlocks a unique line of quests for you to gain your mythic abilities. And this one involves you allying with a master lich, building a ziggurat, doing a few things for him, finding out about yourself, and creating a phylactery, and becoming, in the end, at the very end, you become an undead. You gain the perks of being an undead, which are you don't have a constitution modifier, which should make any kind of stat drain to your constitution nullified. But fun fact about Owlcat and their programming. If you are a lich and someone uses a constitution drain effect on you, and that constitution drains you for 0 of your constitution because you don't have any constitution as an undead. If you're a zombie, skeleton, they don't have a constitution modifier. And they drain you for 0 constitution, you just die. Because Owlcat doesn't know how to code things properly. And it, again, just, oh my God. Just why? Why? But that easily worked around. I only noticed it in the very, very last battle of my run. So, hey, you take the good with the bad. And the good comes in the undead companions that you get through the Lich path. You gain 5 unique undead companions that I believe you can only get doing the Lich path. I could be wrong. You might be able to get them in other ways, but it seems that these 5 companions are Lich path exclusives, meaning that by the end of the game, you can have a party of totally undead people, except for a horse. One of your undead companions is a cavalier, and this cavalier comes with a living horse, which kind of, why couldn't they have given me an undead horse? Because I specialized in necromancy, obviously, and necromancy is useless against undead. Negative energy is useless against undead. So I was able to use powerful abilities against demons that didn't affect undead, but would hit my allies and the enemies alike. There are a lot of abilities like that, which is why selective spell is essential for any of your spellcasters. And that allows you to use spells that hit an area, including your allies, but only hit your enemies. So it's fantastic. I was able to use these undeath spells and just fire them off with reckless abandon, but I had to worry about the horse now. So there were several times I had to unmount my cavalier, send the horse away, or just murder the horse and not care about it. But other than that, I ran with a full team of undead. That was the plan from the beginning. I killed off every companion I was able to. You lose specific companions no matter what you do. You lose the cleric, you lose the paladin. If you go down the Lich path, one of them bails on you. One of them, well, actually, I don't know. You might be able to. I made a Lich choice because I just kept taking when the Lich exclusive choices popped up, I kept taking them. And when I did that, I reaped the soul of the cleric and his brother. So you might be able to save them, though I'm pretty sure the cleric at that point would probably bail on you after you've, raised the army of the undead, and you've kind of shown yourself that you don't have the world's best interest at heart. But these companions that you get are by far the best companions in the game. If you check out my first video I did on Wrath of the Righteous, I really don't like the companions they give you. They range from decent to downright insufferable. And I highly recommend the first thing you do when you play this game is to turn the voice volume just off. I know it takes a lot away, but oh God, the voice actors are just atrocious. If you played through Pathfinder Kingmaker, y'all know what I'm talking about. And they got the same people to do these guys. It's just terrible. The voice direction is terrible. The actors are terrible. Just, oh God. And the undead companions were by far the best companions. Why? Because they don't talk by and large. They're just there. They don't have sub-stories for the most part. There's 1 or 2 instances where if you bring your undead companion on a specific mission, they will have a little extra dialogue. They'll react a certain way, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. It really feels like they slapped the Lich path together kind of last minute. Maybe they'll patch some things into it. Probably not. I'm fine with that. Your undead companions are just your undead thralls that obey your every command, so giving them an extensive backstory is not 100% necessary. And personally, I'm grateful for that, because the character side stories are terrible in this. Aside from, there are a couple that are fun. Greyboars is fun. I liked Regal too. Those two were probably my favorite among the normal companions you get. Everyone else was just, ugh. Oh God, just terrible. And as for the Lich powers you get, they are, oh man, they are disgusting and broken in so many ways. They're not broken. I died a fair amount of times doing, well, I still died, but most of the time it was like, with me, when I play CRPGs, if I win a battle and 3 people die, I often reload and just be like, I can do that better. I want to see if I can overcome this challenge, without letting everyone die. Like, by and large, I would be able to, by the end, even if it was my Lich was the last man standing, win a battle, but I would often go back, redo fights, because I just have fun doing things like that, trying different strategies to see, okay, how can I keep this fighter alive who just keeps getting dump trucked by the Baylor going in there. So I had a blast doing all of that. And final thoughts, don't play this game yet. It's broken. And I can't even tell you all the things that are broken, just the things that I personally have witnessed on 2 playthroughs, Angel playthrough and Lich playthrough. Both those individual mythic quest lines are bugged, and it's, as of the recording of this video, I believe they are still bugged. I do not know what the latest patch is, but I updated mine a couple weeks ago before I started this Lich run, so I can only assume that all the other quest lines probably have their share of issues, some of which might be surmountable, some might not. I ran into several things on my first Angel playthrough especially, where I had to do some serious reloading in order to fix the problem that I was encountering. And it is just, you can't release a game in this state. I mean, geez Louise, you gotta at least have a basic line. I can understand a skill or 2 being bugged, okay, fine, but when your main quest lines are having issues where you have to reload old saves and hope you have a save from nearby enough so it's not, oh God, I've got to do all this over again kind of thing, you can't be releasing your game. This needed another 6 months of polish, but they churned it out. Owlcat has bad programmers in their lineup. They have terrible writers. Their writers are atrocious. The dialogue in this game is, okay, it's just an example of the sparkling witty. Basically, their banter is what they think clever Twitter posts are, and it's all just terrible. There's maybe one line from Regal that made me crack a smile, and other than that, it's just, and like, you get your loading screens, right? And sometimes they will put a character's dialogue, a line they spout off somewhere in the game down there, just to kind of, this is that kind of character's personality. And the Count, Darren, I believe his name is, his dialogue line was, to doing anything you don't enjoy should be illegal. How witty of you, Count. Just brilliant. Just, come on. If you're gonna put dialogue lines in your loading screens, they need to be something mildly profound, or at least revealing of a person's inner character. All I know about Darren is he's probably a twat, and he probably loves shitposting on Twitter. And that is my final verdict of the Lich Path. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. Don't play it. Not yet. Play this game someday. That's my recommendation. Because when this game works, it's great. The combat's great. I love it. That's why I went in for another round. Played it on normal first. I wanted to do a core rules run, which does spice things up because it means a crit. Like, if the enemy critically hits you, odds are you're going to get one shot into oblivion, especially with the Baylors and some of these bigger, bulkier enemies, so it definitely adds some spice into the mix. But just again, wait. I recommended this in my first Pathfinder video. Again, I'll link it below if you want to check out my initial thoughts. The game is just not ready for prime time. So many things don't work. The crusade mechanics are terrible and boring. They slow things down. You're best off just turning the crusade into auto, because it's not fun or challenging or engaging at all. It just drags things to a complete halt. I kept it on for this second run, but if I ever play this game again, which I don't think I'm going to do for many months, if at all, but I will turn the crusade into auto mode, because it's just, the difficulty wasn't increased within the core rules mode. And it's simplistic, it's easy, and it just grinds everything to a halt and takes away from the real meat of the game, which is the combat, which flows very nicely, again, when it works and when your abilities actually function as intended. And oh yes, there are several items that are glitched, often in your favor too. Fun fact, once you get the skeletal finger item, which allows you 3 times a day to perform a level 6 or below spell as if it's quickened, which means it snaps off instantly. Very useful, right? Well, my skeletal finger is glitched and it never ran out of charges, so I could leave that thing on 24/7 and just pop off all day long. And I imagine there are other items that are glitched in that regard too. So hey, you take the good with the bad on this one. So just wait. If you're going to play the game, play Lich, if only to get yourself some awesome companions that don't make you want to scrape your eyeballs out. And that's about the end of that. This has probably gone on way too long, but I just had thoughts because I just wrapped up this run 5 minutes ago, and I just wanted to get all of this out. Owlcat, fix this shit now, and until you do, I will not be back. Happy Halloween, Pathfinders. Don't get captured.